Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. Just last weekend, on Sunday night, we had a big night. It was TNA's Sacrifice pay-per-view. And I had to sit down, I had a come to Jesus meeting with myself. And I always sit down and I always, tell myself, Steve, you want TNA to succeed. You say in all these videos that you want them to, be a force in the wrestling business. You want them to be a strong number 2, and you didn't watch any of the product leading up into the pay-per-view, and that's on me. I just said, if I'm going to get behind this company and I really want them to be to something, I really have to, put this behind it. And then today, news come out of how they're setting up the Slammiversary pay-per-view, and this is a big-time spoiler, for what's going down on TV in the next coming weeks. So if that's not what you want to know, if that's not what you want to see, here is your time to exit out of the video. I don't know why you clicked on it in the first place. Was spoiler listed in the listing above? It was the title that you clicked on to get here. But it seems that they needed to set up who was going to be the new number 1 contender for Eric Young's championship at the Slammiversary pay-per-view. Slammiversary, of course, being their, big sort of Summer Slam. It's, the anniversary. I think this will be the 13th year of TNA. They're going to be, ringing out the bells and whistles. They always like to announce the TNA Hall of Famer that will be going in at Bound for Glory. It's always, a fun time to have around. But, okay. It would be easy to make Robert Roode your number 1 contender. It would go along with Robert Roode being sort of Dixie's guy. Of course, at Lockdown, Dixie came and put, Robert Roode in charge of her team in order to try and win control of the company from the secret investor of MVP. Just break that down for a minute, all right? MVP comes into the company as a secret investor. His mission statement was that he needed to rid Dixie Carter of TNA because she was everything that was wrong with the company. And basically, he was being a fan that used his money, that I don't know where he would have got it, if he's still living off the sports gimmick, or if we're just supposed to know that he came from WWE, and basically he's using the money that Vince paid him to buy this company. I'm not 100% sure how they broke that down, but he buys a good portion of stock in the company to make himself a big-time minority owner, which I would guess would be, 49%, seeing how at Lockdown, they had the Lethal Lockdown match be for control of the company, and whoever got the control of the company, they never really summed it up. Dixie Carter's still around on TV, so it must have just been for that 2% of stock to put them over the hump, because if Dixie Carter would have lost all her stock to MVP, she wouldn't even be around to be running around in disguises, fooling Bully Ray. It all came down to Bully Ray. He came out, he changed his ways, I guess you can say, stealing that from the AJ Styles theme. He turned face, I guess, by being the special referee, even though he was partial to the heels as he was partial to the baby faces, but just screwed everybody out of everything in the end. MVP gets control of the company. Of course, at this time, he'd already signed the Wolves because Dixie said that they weren't up to TNA standards yet, that they would have to go through, practice matches. So he's the big-time babyface. He's basically a fan who watches the show, who says, I really like the wrestling, I really like the wrestlers, just get Dixie Carter out of power and everything would be fine. I do not need to go on one more trip to Dixieland. Stephanie McMahon is like this. If you break this down and you go back in time to like around WrestleMania 18, Stephanie McMahon needed to be gone from television. She became wrestling's cancer. She became a character that was too whiny, too over the top, that nobody wanted to see. She was involved in way too many segments, way too many angles. She was a character that was used way over too much. If you go over and you watch the Authority stuff, the way that they're using Stephanie McMahon these days on television is a lot better. People hate her, but they don't hate her to the level that they want to change the channel because she's on TV. Dixie Carter has that effect. She's been around for too long. She's been doing the same shit over and over, just basically screwing people over and over and over again. So, basically what it comes down to is MVP is the big, huge killer babyface. Along that line, we have Bully Ray lose to Robert Roode in the tables match because of Dixie Carter at the big time match. So to me, that would make him the #1 contender since Eric Young beat Magnus in the rematch, sort of pushing Magnus to the back of the pack, more than likely to have a match with Abyss and figure that whole situation out with Abyss taking the money to be bad, and now he wants to prove that he's good, and he wants to prove to Eric Young that they're still friends, and blah 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 blah. But basically, when it comes down to it, MVP says that he's going to bring out the special #1 contender for Eric Young to fight. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be a guy from the back? Is there going to be another surprise return? Did they sign somebody? Are they bringing out Hernandez? MVP says, let's go, come on down. Nobody comes out, so he jumps Eric Young from behind, becoming the new #1 contender to take him on at Slammiversary. What the fuck is going on? Okay, MVP was the babyface owner, and he took the heel owner out of business. The heel owner never turned babyface. She just screwed Bully Ray at the pay-per-view, and now all of a sudden we're supposed to get behind MVP, who's going to be the heel. So is MVP buying into Dixieland, and now they're going to be together? Or is there just different levels of hate? Like, I hate MVP because he's going up against, against Eric Young, but, I hate Dixie Carter too because she screwed him over. It's just two heel fashions. Now, for so long, TNA's been controlled by one heel force. If only we could find a way to get this over. We had guys like Sting battle against the Dixie Carter guy. We had AJ battle against, the Aces and Eights, so everybody like that. But now all of a sudden we got Eric Young. He's probably got to beat Dixie Carter and then also beat MVP at the same time. It makes no sense. I have no idea what's going on, TNA. Please, help me. MVP versus Eric Young makes as much sense as Magnus versus Eric Young main eventing Sacrifice. I understand that he's got a TV reality hunting fishing show, but he does not need to be the main guy of your company. Please understand that the biggest stars you have are the Wolves, and you had them in the opening match of your pay-per-view. Please find a way to use them better. Please find a way to get them to the top. They would be great as singles. I understand you want to use them as a tag team. They're new. You want to get them over. You think that nobody knows who they are. We all know who they are. Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards, two of the greatest wrestlers there are in America today. Breathe in, breathe out. We'll figure it out as we go along. But let's see if we can get through these TNA tapings. See if we can watch these shows and get to Slammiversary and see how that is. Peace out.